Anything bad can happen. Welcome into the Fantasy BS podcast today. It's September 19th, 2023, and this is episode 4. So we appreciate you all that dealt with the first 3 episodes. They weren't so good, but they're getting a little bit better here. So let's talk some injuries, let's talk studs and duds, and let's get at it. Welcome in. So, Smitty, what's up? How you doing today? How lucky do you feel? Like last night, did you get a little action from the wife? Were you feeling pretty good after your Monday get down?
I feel just very uncomfortably lucky. I don't know how I pulled it off, but a win came my way.
Yeah, it did. And I lost one of my main leagues. I lost, man, because they took back that Olave touchdown where I went fucking nuts because I came back from like 80 points. Like it was ridiculous. But good win in this league, Mr. Cassidy Hill. Let's hear what you got. How was week 2 for you?
Week 2 was pretty good. I also had some wins. I had some losses. I feel like this year the Fantasy Reaper visits it every weekend, and you either walk away unscathed or he, harvests your soul.
He did. So we'll talk about the bad beats, but I can't wait to tell you about Smitty's win in this league. And I got lucky. I actually got a win, which I should be 0-4, but I'm 1-3 because of that median right now. So we're doing good, but let's keep it with you, Cassie. So tell me about your thoughts on week 2. Any studs, duds? Anything pissed you off? Anything made you happy? What are your overall thoughts?
I like that we're getting some really startable young assets coming and being playable. Like the Kyron Williams was really exciting. You got that news right before kickoff. If you had the courage to plug him in your lineup against the 49ers, you were rewarded for that. Out of nowhere, you've got the I was going to say the ghost of Zach Moss, but he's still young, but he's really usable, And then we'll talk about him later, but you have all these young wide receivers that are explosive and they look great and they're making plays and getting the job done. And so it's like, this is the time of year where you can just kind of start making those cutting decisions on your roster and get some talent, onto your bench and inject some volatility and win some weeks.
Yeah, these cut candidates, man. This is going to be hard this week. Cassidy, you're one of the biggest fantasy footballers I know. I mean, like any time in a group chat, man, you are always spot on with them. I love the fact that 2 players that the ballers have been down on, especially Jason, have come out to actually be pretty good throughout the years. They were really down on Zach Ertz when he left Philadelphia. I mean, it was done. He turned out to put in some good years. I have never seen anyone more down on the bowling ball on Zach Moss than Jason Moore, and I love it that he sold him for what, $5 fab after he spent 15. So yeah. I love it, man. So let's get into it. So some of my thoughts this week is a return to the norm. I think we saw week 1 was, hey, nobody plays in a preseason anymore. Offenses had a little time getting together. I think we saw them pick up a little bit next week, but I think you see offenses running at 100% steam next week. That's what I cannot wait for right now. Some of my takeaways that I will tell you from just ups, downs is we had some amazing performances. Smitty, I'm going to let you talk about this one. Let's talk about DeAndre Swift. You've got 40-some points sitting on your bench, which is the only reason you are sitting 2-2 right now. So let's talk about a little bit about DeAndre Swift.
All right, so last week I said, this will be at the end of our last episode, I said, okay, this is a chance for me to see what's good with Swift opportunity. And, with the Kenny Gainwell being out, the injury, I suppose, I thought this was just you know what? A bigger opportunity truly was that Vikings defense. And, man, the Eagles really proved to us that they want to run the ball. Whether it be Jalen Hurts or the plethora of running backs, they just want to run the ball. And the clear most efficient back in that backfield, including Hurts, is DeAndre Swift. He saw windows, and he took advantage. And the coach kept feeding him, and that just gave me all kinds of he wants to give him a chance. Yep.
He hasn't. He hasn't. I think he had about 90% snap count because of
Lions
injuries. I think all you need,
I'm
if you just
glad.
get a 60-40, I think he'll be good. Cassidy, I wish we talked about DeAndre Swift. I wish we talked about, hey, let's buy low. I don't know how we missed this, but I think we were all a little down on Swift over the years. But what's your thought on that backfield right now? What happens when Gainwell gets back?
Yeah, that hurt me personally. It's actually like multi-leveled because I had Swift in some leagues the previous 2 years, so I was feeling the burns. I've been out on him this year. I thought that Gainwell was the number one waiver priority last week, and so I've got Gainwell everywhere.
Oh,
And then, of course, as the fickle gods of fantasy would have it, Swift came out and just totally dominated. So so I'm
Yeah.
feeling all that pain. Here's the truth: you can't put the genie back in the bottle with Swift. He played too well, but the other truth is that that coaching staff really likes Kenneth Gainwell for whatever reason. I mean, they saw those guys on the field together all through camp. They know what they have in Swift, and so now I just think it's really unfortunate. It's probably worst case scenario, at least for the short term, where we're going to see a divided backfield. I do think the split will be in favor of Swift, but Gainwell's going to be involved. And I think if you're a Swift manager, you're hoping that Gainwell sits out again a little bit. And if you're a Gainwell manager and you went out and you spent up on him last week, I don't think you can start him yet. I think you have to wait and see what this breakdown is.
I agree. Is Swift a sell high candidate for either one of you right now?
Well, I'll just finish talking before we get to Smitty. But yeah, Smitty's a hold. I gave Tim crap about this in our Slack, but I heard you had Swift's points on your bench, and so all this talk about being a believer, but I maintain
you
believers
hold
would
it.
have had him in their starting lineup.
I fully agree. I do
But
think that there's a reason they gave the backfield to Gainwell, like week one. So we'll definitely see. But let's jump on some of these other studs. I mean, we got to talk about Puka. We got to talk about Hawkinson. We got to talk about Josh Allen's and Smitty. Would you like to talk about Debo? Do you just want to start it with Debo? You want to have a rant?
efficient again. Uh, yeah. So Debo is
Smitty, go to your phone. Jump back in on your phone.
are you
Smitty,
losing
get
him?
that? Yeah. Exit. Get back on your phone. I'm jumping right into Cassidy. Um,
Well, before we
sorry about
while
that.
we wait for
Smitty's mic stopped working.
yeah, we'll get him back.
No,
Um,
no doubt. So we'll until he gets back, but I'll tell you. So I took a bad beat. We'll get on that in a second. Hawkinson's killed me. CMC had a good game, but it was good to see Puka. You want to talk about Puka until Smitty gets back here because I'm sure he's got some good things to say.
that's his boy. We got to wait for Smitty to get back to talk about Puka. I had a couple more thoughts on Swift I wanted to finish up on.
Yeah, let's talk about it.
Just really fast. First of all, anytime anyone has a performance like that, you can take that opportunity to sell. I mean, if you have a buyer, here's the truth about Swift is that a lot of people already have made up their minds. They're either in or they're out. They might not be totally sold just because of that performance. But if you've got somebody that's willing to pay RB1 prices, sell him. At the RB2 price, I'll hold.
I agree. Yeah, I agree. I don't think he's going to end up finishing as an RB1. It's just me. That offense just loves to use three or four running backs. I mean, there's no avoiding it. I mean, they're going to use it. I'm just curious who's going to get the 60 there. But let's talk about some duds a little bit until Smitty gets back here. I want to share my PTSD on Derek Carr last night. Bryce had him going. We'll talk about that on Bad Beats when Smitty gets back. But man, I had PTSD of that snow game with Carr and Adams last night when Olave. I mean, it was bad. I think the bottom line, I'm just gonna make it. Jason Moore is completely out on Zach Moss. I forever am gonna be out on Derek Moore or Derek Carr because the second he starts having a bad game, it's like, why did I start this guy? Like every time, I'd rather be burned with him on my bench or on the waivers than him kill me in my lineup. Welcome back, Smitty. How you doing, man?
I am glad to be back. Glad that transition seemed to avoid.
Yeah, so you're back on your phone now, so it looks good. So we're just gonna finish up these studs and duds, but we gotta wait till we talk about Puka. So you're back now. We're gonna talk about Puka. Let's take your victory lap here on your Rams.
Let's go. We are competitive, baby. Let's go.
He is incredible, boys. He is incredible. Now, the only thing I will say that scares me a little bit is there was a receiver that had almost as many targets and catches in his first two rookie games, and I believe his name was Kiki Kute. You remember that? Just feed the ball to him from the Houston, but this is a different skill level of player. From my side of it, when I look at someone like him, there's few wide receivers that are just open. And I don't know why they're open. Like you just look at film on them, they're like, where are the receivers? I mean, we're talking Justin Jefferson, we're talking Tyreek Hill, Jamar Chase, like these big time receivers. He looks like Cooper Kupp. He is as open at all times as Cooper Kupp is. I don't know if it's his talent or how they scheme him. I am in. I am fully in. Adrian Dunn did it. I want to apologize. I wish I spent $181 in Fab for Puka last week, which I thought was I would have spent the entire 250 right now looking at that because that was what 20 targets, 20 targets
In one game.
one game. So I'm in. Cassidy, let's hear your thoughts on Puka, and then we'll just kind of get on to some duds, and then we'll get this moving.
Sure. Yeah, just really quick. He's a good player. He fits their scheme well. We're seeing record-breaking target shares. You have to be in. Obviously, we have the big question mark of Cooper Kupp kind of looming in the corner. But, the truth is, no matter what, Puka's here to stay. He's going to keep being used in that offense. And I think I'm not alone in being afraid that we don't see Cooper Kupp at full health this year, or at least not till, much later.
Would you take Cooper Kupp, Cassidy? Sorry, not Cooper Kupp. Would you take Puka, and would you try to go get one of those wide receiver twos, the best ones in the league right now, like, say, Jalen Waddle? Would you be trying to maybe make that trade right now? Or do you think that this is a season long, we're getting 10-plus targets weekly?
Man, that's a really interesting question. I was going to ask you guys questions about the opposite side of that because I want to get Puka, and I want to know what that costs. I wouldn't be giving up Waddle to get Puka, so that means that, yes, I would obviously be making that move. If I had Puka, I'd be trying to cash in at that level.
I don't know what Puka would cost. I'd be curious to see a trade with that because how do you go? I mean, can he get more valuable than he is right this second? I don't know. Smitty, what would you give up for Puka? What would you trade for him?
Here's the thing. Puka is being hyper targeted. This is a lovely situation. And until Cooper Kupp comes back, this will not stop. Hyper targeted. So, I mean, is Tyreek Hill being hyper targeted? Is Jamar Chase being hyper targeted? Is AJ Brown being hyper targeted? Nobody's being as hyper targeted. Is Justin Jefferson being hyper targeted? Nobody's
Yes.
being this hyper targeted. So,
No one ever has.
well, okay, all right, you got me. Justin Jefferson is. But if you're looking at trade targets, I mean, I really do think you should just hold. Now, what is his price? Man, you gotta look for somebody who's very close in targets. So, JJ is a guy we could talk about. Which I mean, that's a tough move, but
Well, can I bring up a situation?
Yeah.
okay.
So, like, for example, in a league that I'm in, Colorado Joe, who's in our Fantasy Sickos channel, he has Puka,
Okay.
and he just lost Chubb last night, right? I have a team that's pretty wide receiver rich. I cashed in on some of those waiver guys. I have Kyron Williams, and I went out and I got Jerome Ford already, and and I've got Bijan and I've got Josh Jacobs. So I'm looking at Puka, and I want to know
Okay.
what does it cost? So he needs a running back, right? He needs it. I would really love to get Puka on my team. So what kind of move would you be making if you had those running backs to try to go get Puka?
So you took the words out of my mouth. I was literally just going to say, if I have Puka, which I only have him on one team and it's the Megala Bowl and I can't freaking trade him. But if I have him for the way I build my squad, I am now going to go get my running back.
Yeah.
Period. I'm going to get my running back. I'm targeting Josh Jacobs in some leagues right now, redraft leagues that I'm trying to get him. I've got a trade out there to you, Matt Brewer, if you'd like to take a look at that. But I am targeting him, but I'm also giving up something that somebody needs. So I'd say he's a perfect time to go get your running back. That's your trade. But find somebody that you know is going to be a workhorse.
So
that's
we,
just
we should
period.
probably move on. We could just talk about Puka for this whole podcast. But is it Puka plus something? I just need to know. Is it Puka plus something
No,
for Jacobs?
it's not Puka plus something. It's
Just
I
Puka
would-
for Jacobs?
I would if
No,
you're that
100%.
wide
Yes,
receiver.
100%.
Yeah,
100%.
100% Puka
Puka
for
for Jacobs.
Jacobs.
No, I'm keeping Jacobs
Really?
there.
You're keeping Jacobs there.
Yeah.
Oh my. All right, all right. I would
But
much rather
Cassidy,
have
you
Puka.
yeah, we'll get on. But you build your teams different than I always need that running back. I always need him. So that's why you know what? If I can go get Josh Jacobs for somebody that was on a waiver wire, I look at that in my mind as I just pick up Josh Jacobs on waivers. I just sell myself on different things to make
Yeah,
trades
that's
work sometimes.
Right. Well, we're saying the same thing. You're saying you would take Jacobs for Puka. I'm saying I wouldn't
Yeah,
sell it. Yeah. We're saying the same
yeah.
thing.
Oh, I gotcha. I hear you. I thought we were talking different. My bad. Your host sucks. Let's talk about the duds and we'll move on. So, Burrow Chase, Smitty, I can't believe you're 2-2 in this league holding Burrow Chase. I don't know if there's a lot we need to talk about. Burrow's ankle will get done, some injuries, but the other ones, Pitts. You guys throwing Pitts to your waiver wire because I'm not. If Pitts is on my team, get rid of him, trade him, get anything you can. He's off my team. Period. You guys throwing him to the waiver wire?
Yes.
100%. I mean, this rookie class already is doing pretty cool things at tight end. So,
Exactly.
yeah, yeah.
The other two duds, what are you guys doing? And I'm going to start with you, Smitty, on this one. What are you doing with Hall and what are you doing with Cook right now? I know they just went up against a serious defense, but we got to talk about that offense. It's there's some issues. Garrett Wilson should have had 4 freaking touchdowns the other night, but he's not going to get them. Garrett Wilson would have been a wide receiver, the wide receiver one possibly this year with Rodgers. But what are you doing with those two backs?
Hold Hall, sell Cook.
Agreed.
And I
Anything
don't
on?
know the price would be something though.
Yep. Same with you, Cassidy. Are you holding through both of them?
Yeah, if I have Brees, so I'm going to stick it out. I think that that's a good guy to go get. I think you've got some managers that are probably feeling pretty nervous right now, and he's got a lot of upside. That's somebody you could go after. Cook, I don't think he's got a lot of trade value, so I'm not really that into him, but I don't really see the point of trying to make a move with him unless it's in a package deal or something.
Yeah, I might try to go get Cook somewhere on a package deal. But again, buy low on him if you can. But it might be a pretty rough season. So I want to get in the news and notes and just on the league here, guys. We got to say some congratulations, Cassie. I know you're not technically in the league, but I know you're still with us with your heart. So we got to say congratulations to the 4-0 teams. I will tell you that there's 2 teams in this league that are 4-0. And Gordon Hill, Miss Hillary, congratulations. Most points scored in the league right now. You've got 471 points on the year. And I will tell you that 2 of those victories were against me. You got the medium and you kicked my ass last week. So cheers to you. Let's talk about the other 4-0 team, Tim Ho with 432 points. Tim Ho, again, crushing it. I would like to say you got 2-0 on me this week. Or sorry, you got a win on me this week, and you got the medium as well. You kicked my ass pretty good this week. So cheers to you. Guys, any thoughts to these teams? 471 points through 2 games. I mean, cheers to you, Hillary. Cheers. I mean,
Yeah, I want to speak on Hillary's team real quick. So, as we know, Thursday night, the Giants are playing the 49ers. I mean, 69ers, my fault. I got to say this going forward, do not worry about matchup. I think Kyron Williams alone has proved that we don't have to worry about the ferocious defense. I mean, in fact, the only defense we really have to even waver about is the Cowboys at this point. So any other matchup, don't even think about it. If you got some studs, if you got some good players, just run them out there.
player
That's all.
studs.
That's all.
Player studs. But Timo, man, he's been consistent. He's been on that 210, 2-ish mark both weeks now. Yeah, good job, Timo, man. I respect the way you play. I know Cassidy, you see him quite a bit. You two actually build teams very similar when I've been watching you guys draft. So cheers to you guys. I will tell you that with the 4-0 teams, we got to talk about the biggest losers. Our returning champ, Bryce. 0-4. Took a bad beat last night on Monday Night Football. I thought he was going to pull through on Tony, but we got Bryce 0-4, and then we had your regular season champ, which was me last year, sitting at 1-3. So we completely suck compared to you 4-0 teams. I wish you all the best, but I am not going to sit down here on these bottom 2 teams like I am right now. So good luck to all you people that are 0-4 and 1-3 next week. I really hope I don't say that someone's 0-6 on this podcast next week because Bryce, you absolutely kill it in there. Any words of encouragement for people that are 1-3 and 0-4, boys? Cassidy, I'll start with you. I need to feel better.
Absolutely. Yeah, I said it before. The gods of fantasy are unjust, they are unsympathetic, and they are fickle. And so, worry not, they will once again return their favor in your direction, you know. And also, as the great Tim Allen once said, never give up, never surrender.
Never give up, never surrender. Wasn't that Cheap Trick and Bruce Springsteen too? I think that said that. But yeah,
Yeah.
I'll tell you what. So the only reason I'm not 0-4, boys, is because the Cleveland Browns got a sack with like 2 minutes left in the game, and I jumped up above the median by point 0.1 points. So
Congratulations.
I have never been so excited to be 1-3 in my entire life. So those are your winners, your losers. Great year going so far. But now we got to talk about some injuries, boys, because some of these teams are going to have injuries around here. The one thing I want to spend just a few minutes talking about is the biggest issue in this offseason was this running back call that was done. And on that running back call, I just want to read the 4 running backs that were on this: Saquon Barkley, J.K. Dobbins, Josh Jacobs, and Nick Chubb. 2 of those players are out for the season. One of them has an ankle injury that we keep saying, okay, is he playing next week? Because we keep getting mixed results, but I think that's a high ankle sprain out 3 to 4 weeks. That sucks for these running backs, boys. I mean, these are the 4 that have been talking about we need to get paid more. Now, I mean, J.K. Dobbins' career is over. Nick Chubb's career might be over.
Yeah.
I don't know. What's your thoughts on the running back position? Is this gonna make a point that we have to address this in the offseason, or is this just tough shit?
Do you mean from the NFL standpoint or a fantasy
From the
perspective?
NFL owner standpoint, because the NFL owners are getting what they want right now, and the RBs aren't, and it's
Yeah.
proving to the owners that they're right, and it's proving to the RBs that they're right too.
Well, yeah, it is, but unfortunately, it's the NFL that calls the shots, and I really don't like how this is. This is going to make it even harder for these guys to get paid. I think, you know.
Yeah, Smitty, what about you? I mean, anything changes here?
Um, as far as fantasy goes, we really gotta keep in mind how volatile this position is. Like, if we really, really consider that in our drafts, we can really find a way around this. But as far as it sucks. I mean, we're gonna lose someone big next week. I don't know who it is, but I'm feeling it. It's just gonna keep
No,
on going because these running backs are just, they're a little fragile. It's a fragile position. It's a dangerous position.
Don't go jinx these RBs, man, because I'm telling you, after
Exactly.
week 1, everybody that has my philosophy on building teams look like idiots. Oh, why would you want these wide receivers? Look how good the running backs are doing. I think by week 2, we've realized shit happens, and it happens bad. But so biggest injury, Nick Chubb, done for the season. Not exactly sure, didn't see the report, but it looks like he ripped apart almost everything in his knee. Who's your
Ugh.
replacement? I don't think there is a replacement, but let's talk about waiver wires coming up. So Jerome Ford, anything? I mean, are you going all in, or are you expecting another back to come into that backfield? And I'll start with you, Cassidy. Sorry.
yeah, thanks for asking. I've got a team where I really need help at running back. He's sitting out there on the waiver wire, and I am thinking about swinging at him pretty hard. And that's because I really liked the way that he looked last night. You know, I mean, I was sold by both his usage and by his performance. And I think when you see both of those things come together, you kind of have to call your shot. You know, obviously, I'm terrified that somebody else is going to come into that backfield. We're not going to know before we have to make our bids tonight. But I personally am in. So I honestly think that they're going to bring somebody in, but I don't think there's anyone out there on the free agency market that has the same, kind of explosive talent that we saw from Jerome Ford last night.
Bingo. Bingo.
There is one. And I would go hard in on the paint for Jerome Ford. In every league, I have a fab. If I've got the number 1 priority in a league that's set up like that, I would also use that. But there's a running back that this team is going to need when he comes off the IR, and this is a JT trade waiting to happen.
Oh,
That is why I would be cautious about how much money you spend on fab with that right now. But we are talking about the what ifs, because we could have a starting running back for the rest of the year. I'm not worried about Kareem Hunt. I'm not worried about Cam Akers. I've never been worried about Cam Akers. Everyone knows me. I'm not a Cam Akers fan. I'm not worried about those running backs coming in and
yeah,
taking it up. There's one that should be traded, and that's JT. I don't know where he goes, but
yeah. I
does
didn't see
that
that. That's a
what
good
would
call.
that
He's a phenomenal fit too.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's one other phenomenal fit, and that's the boy out in Arizona, and that's James Conner. We might want to look at that possibly as a midseason trade as well.
Yeah.
So basically, you can't replace Chubb, but Smitty, are you going hard in the paint for your fab? Like, let's say, are you going
For
50 to
Jerome Ford?
75% on him?
For Jerome Ford, absolutely. Jerome Ford in the dynasty space, he was one of those players where he's like, all right, he's one of those nasty boys where you gotta hold on to because when the opportunity comes, he's gonna get it done. And we saw it Monday night. He is everything we ever wanted from him. So honestly, I think maybe they can sign a guy who's just whatever, but Jerome Ford is him to me. So yeah, it's time to pay that money for Ford. I think he'll
Nothing
be
but
Yeah.
Jags out there.
Hmm.
All Jags. With us talking about Jerome Ford, one thing I do want to say is Scotty, Snake Eyes. So annoying that when I looked at the waiver wire, as soon as Chubb got injured, that he's sitting on your bench. So well played. I don't know if you used the IR. You had someone come out, threw him on there, but whatever was done on a 6-person bench, you had Jerome Ford on your team. Well done,
Unbelievable.
sir.
Man, that's fantastic.
Unreal, dude.
Good job. Scotty is a shark. So shout out to you,
Yep.
Scotty. Good move there.
100%.
And we might look back at this on a trade we broke down last time where Scotty got AJ Brown and sent those 2 RBs out there. He might have just found his RB, and that trade might pop because AJ Brown will be pretty good in there. So, other injuries we had Burrow ankle. Sound the alarm right now, boys. This is not going to heal, and it's not going to heal fast, and this is a pocket passer. Oh, there it is! So, Smitty, let's talk about your Burrow Chase stack right now. And I can't believe you actually have 2 wins with them in your starting lineup both weeks. Well done, by the way, on that.
Thank you. Like you said, the alarm is ringing, ringing, ringing. I am nervous. So yesterday I put Debo Samuel on the trade block. Um, for those who are taking that seriously, listen, I would love a quarterback in return because I'm nervous for Burrow. And I'm just going to flat out say it. Now, am I going to put Burrow on the block? No. Am I going to put him on IR? Highly likely. But I'm nervous. And I'm even more nervous for Chase because this O-line is looking worse than I imagined.
It's bad,
So,
dude.
yeah, it's stock here down. It's not good. And I'm going to need another quarterback. That's the fact.
I agree. Cassie, how do you feel about that? I mean, I'm legitimately, I don't know if he's startable until he shows me otherwise right now.
No, he's not. Alarm bells are ringing. It is scary. I think one of the worst things that might happen is they don't put him on IR, and they just keep rolling him out there, and this injury just keeps on lingering.
Yeah. And I'm bummed. This injury hurts me the most because this was a year I wanted to see Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase, and Tyreek Hill all 3 go at 2,000. And I thought it was possible. We were going to be talking all year about which one's going to get 2,000. Chase's 2,000's done. I mean, he's already started the year pretty bad. It's done.
Yeah.
The other 2 still has a chance, but I mean, you just can't replace that. So, I mean, obviously this is a super flex league. So, Smitty, get your trade partners. I got a QB available if you're looking for one. His name's Desmond Ritter. He's there. 31 points in our league last
If
week.
we want to talk
Nice.
about it, I was impressed. If we want to
Yeah.
talk about it, I was impressed with the boy. But
There you
go.
yeah, we can talk. We can talk.
All right, we're not going over time this time, but can we talk about Drake London real quick for me? I don't even care if anyone else wants to talk about
I thought
this,
about you
but
this week.
Yeah.
I thought about you.
I lost my league because he's sitting on a bench in 2 of them. So
Of
now,
course.
now I've lost because of him in my lineup. This is going to be all year, dude. I don't know what to do with him, man. All year it's going to be he's going to kill me one way or another.
Yeah.
I'm praying one more game. Come get him, baby. Come get him off my squad. One more good game and come get him. But I think so. We got Burrow's ankle, Saquon's ankle. We'll figure that out. If anybody knows what happened to Jamal Williams, for the love of God, please let me know because I have no idea what's going on with this guy. He went out of the game, and Smitty had a big smile on his face to win that way. But Jamal Williams out. Don't know what's happening. Deontay Johnson.
I do know it's a hamstring. That's all I know.
Uh-oh. Hamstring with Kamara coming back, and it looks
Yeah.
like, who's their rookie they brought on? My goodness. Kendrick Miller.
Kendrick Miller.
Yeah, so it might be time to go look at Kendre Miller to try maybe to replace
The-
Chubb. You can't replace him, but you can get touches.
yeah.
So that's going to be interesting. Now with Deontay Johnson going on, I just have a note real quick that I wanted to talk about George Pickens. If you guys want to talk about him a little bit, he looked unguardable last night. He looked like Justin Jefferson. He looked like one of those receivers I was talking about that you look up and you're like, well, where are the defenders? I'm big. George Pickens is going to be a thing this year. It's
Yeah.
happening.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
had a bad beat with him last night. I lost in the league by, a point or something because of that 75-yard touchdown. On Monday night, it was it was the same league that I lost because of that Jets punt return at the end of Monday night last week, and then then the George Pickens touchdown this week. It's like I don't know if I can watch Monday Night Football anymore.
Oh,
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
I it is hard. As we're talking about Monday Night Football, why don't we talk about the bad beats? Because you just mentioned a couple of them. We had
Yeah,
two bad beats in this league this week. Smitty, I mentioned it a second ago. You beat Scotty. Poor Scotty, man. We went into this. You gave your Monday night matchup. I need the gods and elves or angels of Monday Night Football, you said. And Williams ends up going out after like four carries, and you end up beating Scotty 198.07 to 196.95.
He
All
literally
that
only
needed
needed 8 points from Jamal Williams, which I thought was a smash.
He didn't
yeah,
even need to get a
should have been.
yard. All he needed was the carries, and you would have
Yeah.
lost.
Well, the
Exactly.
process was right.
Process
The
was right.
process. Yeah.
I'm going to say this right now. I call him Baby King Henry. I'm a huge Williams fan. I've met the guy a couple times.
Oh, cool.
So cool, by the way.
The wheels have fallen off. This isn't the offense for him. They've got younger people coming in, but I do believe that this is the last year was the last year we're going to talk about him, unless it's a miracle start. Do you guys
Yeah.
agree with that?
It's looking that way.
100%.
It's too bad. I
Yeah.
love
So
him. He's great.
sound the alarm with him for sure. The other bad beat we got, guys, is our commish, Tony. This is 2 weeks in a row that he's got a bad beat on somebody. He got Joe last week, and Tony beats Bryce this week from Monday Night Football game, 185.77 to 179.56. So now our champ's 0-4 because of a bad beat, but man, Tony is just flying too close to the sun on wings of whatever. But he's getting a bad beat. I mean, what do you tell someone like Bryce right now? 0-4, he's been league champion, but he's also been in the finals the other 2 years of this league that weren't there. So what do you tell Bryce? Just keep going, keep making your moves, keep finding trades.
Yeah, he's good enough. He'll get there. We believe in him.
All right, so we'll go 0-4. So we're about 33 minutes, guys. So I'm going to jump on. Let's talk rookie wide receivers. I'm taking Puka off this conversation. I think we've talked about him enough. But
Love him.
we've got some wide receivers, and these are not in order of how I'm ranking them, just how I got them put down on my paper. But we got Jordan Addison, Zay Flowers, Mims, Josh Downs, Tank Dell, and then we got Reed versus Wicks. We'll talk a little bit about. But Smitty, what is your thought on these rookie wide receivers this year? We're 2 weeks in, and I'm impressed.
Okay, I'm gonna just do a real quick rundown of all of them. Addison, perfect edge of the offense. He's gonna be probably the best at once Cooper Cup gets back. Flowers, um, very exciting, very important. Mims, the perfect deep down guy. Downs, I don't really know too much about. And Tank Dell, quiet one. He's a quiet one.
I'm loving it. So you're taking Jordan Addison as your rookie wide receiver one right now.
Yeah, number one. Once Cooper gets back, then because what Addison is for this offense is immensely more than what Puka is for the Rams, at least in my opinion so far.
Okay.
I don't know. How do y'all feel about that?
Cassie, what's your thoughts?
Yeah, so that was a pretty good summary. I think where we're at is we've seen some every week starters emerge. You've got Puka, and again, I would not mind just, we could just keep talking about Puka. But we've got Puka, we've got Addison, we've got Flowers. I think they've proven themselves in 2 weeks. You can plug those guys in your lineup. I'm not afraid to start any of those guys every single week. The rest of the guys, it's a wait and see. We're going to wait on Mims, we're going to wait on Downs, and we're going to wait on Tank Dell. Out of those three, I think Tank is the closest to becoming your next every week starter because he's getting the targets. That's what we're looking for. I think he had 8 last week, right? Mims, that was impressive, but what do you have? Like 2 catches or something? Downs, these are guys, get them off the waiver wire, put them on your bench, wait and see. But those other guys, man, Pook, Addison, Flowers, plug them in.
I loved what you just said there, Cassidy. It's really hard as we go into week 3 to say we have 3 rookie wide receivers that you just are going to play weekly probably.
Yeah.
And I agree with that. But the one thing that I will tell you is with Mims and Downs, they are what they were drafted for. They were meant to be the speed guy and go out and break that. And we've seen Mims break one. Josh Downs is coming. I've been watching those indie games, and I'm really impressed with his target share isn't there, but I'm impressed with his route running. So I think that this is going to be a really good wide receiver class coming out. I mean, the fact that we're talking Puka, I mean, we have to say he's the number one right now. Until proven otherwise,
God,
this
yes.
guy, I mean, it's not even a question right now. I think Zay Flowers emerges as, I've always been on that side. I do think he's going to emerge as a number one. But fucking Jordan Addison, man. He has not had a huge target share, but the touchdowns he's having, you look at this and you're like, oh man, this kid's going to be good. This is going to be a rock star. I mean, think about the last 3 draft classes. I mean, how many top 15 wide receivers are coming out of the last 3 draft classes? 10? I haven't counted them. I'm just throwing out a number. A lot. So start those 3. Wait and see on the other ones. What are you doing with Jordan Reed and Wicks? Are you which one do you think is actually better? Because they look like the same receiver to me on the field.
Yeah,
It's
I'm gonna agree.
Jaden.
I think they're the same as well. Say what? Oh, who?
I was just gonna say it's Jaden Reed.
Oh,
I
okay.
agree on that. You too, Smitty?
I mean, I think Jordan Love's doing a solid job spreading that ball around. I think that's what my biggest takeaway is. He's spreading that ball. So I think it's hard to guess, but Jaden Reed, I kind of love that call.
Yeah, I don't know much about Wick's college production, but I know that Jaden Reed had a lot of college production, and that's kind of what you're looking for when it starts to translate to the NFL, like we've seen already in week 2.
Yeah, so I'm a huge Michigan State Spartan fan, so I watch Reed play a lot of football. I will say I am not a Michigan State fan after this last sexual harassment thing, but that's another story. But I watched that guy play football. But my advice would be of all the wide receivers we're talking about, I'm not throwing in a waiver claim and I'm not keeping him on my bench unless I have a very big bench right now because that's just going to be maybe you get a game, you're going to get more probably crappy games as you go. So that's kind of how we rank them. Again, Puka, Addison, Flowers, everyday starters, everyone else wait and see. And then what we said about Reed and Wicks. Now, Cassie, let's get to your corner here. Let's have a look at Cassie's corner. Let's talk some DFS here. Let's roll this one out. What you got? You got the mic.
That's great. I'm so excited that we're all playing DFS together this year. I think it's so fun. It really adds a whole nother dimension to fantasy. And it's just a whole nother way that we can interact together and kind of build this group camaraderie and have more stuff to talk about. So first and foremost, this week, we've got to give a shout out to people that are on the podium. These are going to be familiar names for you. We've got, Adrian taking the number 1 spot. That's a previous CCC champion. We know that he knows his stuff. Number 2 this week was Hillary. I hear that she's right now sitting at top of the Corona Couch Coaches, so she's apparently sharp. And then you got Tim Ho. That's his second time on the podium, so he's gunning for the that cash prize we're going to give out at the end of the season for having the most podium finishes. So, great job, you guys. We can talk a little bit about how we got there. Play of the week this week, I don't think it's going to be a surprise for anybody. It was Puka Nacua. His salary was $4,900, and he finished with 33 points. So, and also, he wasn't as highly played as you might think he was. That injury and the 49ers matchup scared people off of him a little bit. And he went and he had 6x for his salary. So that's the kind of thing that's going to win you a week. I will give a little shout out to Debo. Adrian had Debo in his lineup, and nobody was really on Debo because Ayuk had the big game the week before. And he just about 3x'd on his salary. He was more expensive, so it was a little bit of a contrarian play, and it paid off for Adrian. The dud of the week, I think a lot of people are going to want to say that it was Josh Kelly because everybody played him. He was the free square. He's $5,000. He didn't pan out. But what's important to know about DFS is that he actually didn't hurt you. He didn't hurt you. And the reason why was because he was cheap and because everyone played him. And so you didn't lose your advantage over the field. What he enabled you to do is to spend up in other places. And if you spent up and you plugged in Jamar Chase, like I did, that hurt you. And so dud of the week is Jamar Chase. Just got
Especially if
too.
you have that Jamar Chase Burrow stack like I
Oh
did.
man, yeah, I
I
played
did
some of
too.
that, and that really hurt. So, all right, we'll send you guys off with this. You want your cash lock for this week? I'm almost never going to give you a tight end as my cash lock, but this week, Kelsey is only $7,200. He's going up
Whoa.
against a hapless Chicago defense. I think that Mahomes and Kelsey get on the same page this week. He's going to 3x his salary, no problem. He needs 20 points to do it. I think that that's a lock.
Okay,
I,
I like that.
I like that a lot. I like that a lot. But I'll tell you, this is my second week playing. Thank you for getting me into DFS. Second week, I learned how hard this gig is real quick. Second place finish felt good, and then I think I was either second or last place. But yeah, it's fun, man. Everyone jump in. This is awesome. I mean, the more the merrier. Quick, easy. It's not that expensive. But how many people did we have last time? Did we have 12 in this contest, or was it 10?
I think it was 10. It was 10 last time I checked. Maybe more got in, but I'm so excited that we have that many people, all competing against each other. It's making it really, really fun. I hope that more people jump in this week. We can all help each other to kind of spread the word. And you just said it, man. The more the merrier.
The more the merrier. What? Any last words on DFS from you, Smitty?
No, I just Burrow and Chase, GD.
Did you
It
end up winning
hurts.
that? Did you end up winning that week long one, that full slate? I didn't check. Maybe
No,
you got off to
I
that
didn't get
huge start on Thursday night. Remember?
Yeah, I ended up getting second on that, or yeah, second on that.
Good job.
I'm going to jump into full slate this week because everyone I wanted to play, I couldn't. There's just too many Monday night games. But man,
Yeah.
I had a blast. So let's have some fun. Let's end this right, guys. We're always going to debate something stupid. Last week we had a coach's celebrity death match. Mr. Smitty over here was talking about how he's got a favorite Batman out there, and I'm passionate about Batman. So I thought about who is your favorite Batman? Why? Who is your least favorite Batman? Cassidy, I'll let you think, but Smitty, let's hear it from you since you've already put it out there in the chat.
Okay, yeah. So my favorite Batman so far, because there's probably another one next year. Robert Pattinson from the film The Batman that came out 2022. Yes, I think he was perfect as Bruce Wayne, especially, but also, the character the Batman. And my least favorite, George Clooney. Get him out of here.
We're going to talk about that. I agree. George Clooney was the worst Batman ever to be played. That Arnold Schwarzenegger or whatever, Mr. Ice or whatever, that was absolutely horrible. Uh, I will tell you that Michael Keaton, my favorite Batman of all time. So I've got a couple. Now it depends on what Batman you like. There is a dark Batman and there is a fun Batman, and there is nowhere in between. And for me, I've always liked the dark Batman. So if we're talking dark Batman, we're talking Christian Bale. When he was in that whole well and he had to climb out when it was Batman Origins, that dude played the darkest Batman ever. But the original person to use the voice to say, I am Batman, Michael Keaton, 100%. And by the way, Ben Affleck, fucking horrible Batman too. Cassidy, what's your thoughts on Batman?
Man, you just stole my takes. So, best Batman ever is hands down. I made you spit up your soda. That's good. That was worth it to me. Look, it's Christian Bale, and here's why. Christopher Nolan. Christopher Nolan made him with that 3-film series. Like you said, it was dark, it was heavy, it was deep. The voice was ridiculous, but we can look past it. He was great. The worst Batman is Val Kilmer. I'm sorry, I wasn't buying it. I'm not in. He's not Batman.
He was so bad, I forgot he was Batman.
Yeah, dude. Some really bad Batman.
All right, so let's think about this, and we'll end it here. If all the Batmans had a complete Royal Rumble where they're all getting into the match, who wins from a physical standpoint? Because that is the only time that I think Ben Affleck beats the living shit out of all of the Batmans. That dude is yoked.
That's
Yep.
funny,
And I
yeah.
will definitely go ahead and say Robert Pattinson will lose hands down. He kind of took it
Yeah.
all in the movie, so I'm gonna get him out the room. He ain't
He's a
ready.
girly boy.
He ain't ready for this.
Yeah.
He is.
I'm still taking Bale in the Royal Rumble. I still think he's scrappy enough to get the job done.
Yeah, he is. I mean, if he gets into that American Psycho character also while he's Batman,
Oh, that'd be cool.
I'm giving it to this dude. No one's taking him out. All right, Triple C, we really appreciate you guys. This has been an awesome podcast, episode 4. Hope you like it. Send in any questions to Smitty, send them to Cassie, send them to me. We're going to absolutely crush it. Thank you. Good luck this week, and good luck on your waiver wire. Cheers, guys.
Jump into DFS.
Jump on in, baby. Let's do it.